So, thank you for the invitation. I'm really honored to be here. And we have been talking about recruitment in fire and rescue services during the day on professional level, but I will focus on volunteer and part-time firefighting in my presentation. So that's why I have said that recruitment is an investment to your society's safety. And on those titles below you can find also my contact information. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and so on. So whichever tool you have, you can contact me if you have anything to ask. So who am I? We have talked also about role models, and I am a woman with different roles in my life. I graduated as a Master of Science from Technical University, and then I went to the rescue school and became an average engineer, fire engineer. I'm also a mother for those twins, girls. My girls are 2.5 years old. They have already said that they are going to be future fire chiefs. So I really have to keep up my work and make sure that they have every opportunity in this field that they want to go on. I'm also a wife to a firefighter. That's also something quite common in this field. When I went to the rescue school, I said, I will never date a firefighter. And first weekend at rescue school, and here I am. Since 2010, I have had my own page in our magazine, our top magazine in Finland, where I write columns. And nowadays we also do a podcast in that magazine. We want to raise up certain kind of topics and talk about in podcast also. So communications in total is really my heart topic in general. Like Eric mentioned, I'm a chairperson also for CTIF Commission and also the Network for Women in Fire and Rescue Services. And a handicrafter is also something that I do. So we have different roles, each of us, if we look behind the surface. I live where the star is. It's Tampere, city called Tampere. It's the most popular town in Finland. But I come from Anjala, which is a small town for 2,000 people living there. And from those 2,000 persons, 10% of that population is members of our volunteer fire brigade. So in this presentation, I will go through perhaps the reasons why that amount is so high in our small town. So there are my roots, and actually my roots are, my old grandparents are from the Russian border, so my roots are over the Russian border if you go further with the roots. But let me go through with the fire and rescue services in Finland. Even though we are neighbor countries, I don't take it for granted that you know how our fire services is built. And I will go through how it is. So what we do is accident prevention, firefighting and rescue, and civil protection. And half of our regional fire departments take also care of the emergency medical service. So not all are firefighters and paramedics, but in half of Finland the situation is like that. We have over 300 municipalities, and they are jointly responsible providing service to citizens within fire and rescue services. So we have 22 regional fire departments in Finland, and in total the number of professional firefighters and volunteer and part-time is 20,000 persons in total in Finland. So we have different kind of ways to provide service to the public. So we have 22 rescue regions, we have 60 full-time stations, fire stations, but we have over 800 volunteer fire brigades. So all those dots over there are fire stations in Finland. So we are maybe the only public service that is reachable in every town. Police does bigger scale things, and so that does the others. So we are the ones that citizens in every town can reach. We have also 20 industrial and institutional fire brigades. So about recruitment, and I will, like I said, I will focus on volunteer part and part-time part of it, what we have done. So how I was recruited. Here's a photo. The handsome devil is my father. He still has his hair in there, but the cap doesn't show the whole situation. But these pictures also tells that in our country, volunteer fire brigades are not just for adults. It is something that families do. Fire stations are open to every family member. And we get a role model, like my father has been my role model. And that's why, because he had his uniform, I was 1 year old in that photo. I said that I need a uniform as well. I could hardly speak, but I said I need a uniform. And they had to sew it, work it out. But in that I have. So youth fire brigade in Finland is a hobby for some, and it's also the one that is free, it's equal, and because it's free, it's equal in that way too. Everybody can participate. You can join to youth fire brigade when you are 7. And what you learn in there is basic skills. You know how to dial 112 and how to communicate with the emergency services. You know how to proceed with first aid. You know how to use fire extinguishers. You know all the basics. And in that picture, it's me and my brother. I have 2 brothers and a sister, and we all are in fire department. You don't. If you ask imagination with a scoop, it's not happening. We have been given the imagination of career path with a spoon. So, but when 7 years old go older, they get more and more difficult task in Youth Fire Brigade. So first it's like a play, but it's play with important stuff. The stuff that goes to your spine. And all together in Finland we have 7,000 children who are in fire brigade. So 7,000 is the number. So not all are future firefighters, but all are given lessons about important skills. Some of them will make a career within fire and rescue services, but not all. But you can see that also as a safety education for all that age children. Other things that we have is, we have this, it's in Finnish, no hätä, but it means no emergency competition. This is something that we reach every 8th graders, so they are around 14 years old. Our regional fire departments do this. First, the schools do a competitions about fire safety, accident prevention and stuff like that for all 8th graders in the schools. Then the regional fire departments do a competition for that region, who are the best schools, and from one region, one school gets to go to the finals, and it's held in Rescue College in Kuopio. And with this competition we reach nearly every 14-year-old in Finland, and with this we can give safety education for them through this competition, and also give the idea, because they are around 14 thinking about careers, we can give them ideas how firefighting could be, or fire and rescue services in total could be also a career option. So it means too good. This was started over 10 years ago, and we have this, in our societies, we have this thing that more and more young people are passing by from the society. And this project, we worked with social services and with fire brigades. And we introduced fire brigade as a safe option to, as a hobby for children that are nearly passing by from the society. What else do we have? In the end of this month, we will have the whole week for fire prevention or fire safety. You can find everything, even though the web page is in Finnish, you can find everything in Swedish also, because we have two official languages. And the end of this week is the day at the fire station, and over 400 fire stations have open doors for public, and with that they get safety education, they get recruitments for volunteer fire brigade. They have everything for every family member that comes to the fire station, something in that event. So we want to introduce our fire stations as a heart of the town in that day. Now I have talked about young people, but how to recruit adults? It's something also that we have to focus on. I have been in fire and rescue services for 36 years. But usually when I introduce myself, I don't give those, say that I'm that experienced I don't say those years because I feel somehow that it's excluding people, that the amount of experience is something that gives you a position to say something. And I just say that I have been here and that's why I don't use that. But it's also because I don't know how to start to count what are the years, how to start to counting. And in our volunteer fire brigades, we want to create an atmosphere that whether you are there for a year or 10 years or your whole lifetime, everybody in there is needed. Everybody's efforts are valuable. And that is the atmosphere that we want to make in our fire brigade. So people have different kind of attitudes when it comes to volunteer or part-time firefighting. Some see it as a hobby, as a project that we go with some period of years. For some, it's a lifetime. It's something that have been in your life for whole time. But that doesn't mean that there's no difference. Everybody in there, when they are valuable. And it's also important to see that fire brigades are not just there to put down fires. It's more than that. Our volunteer fire brigades has done also this fire brigade weekend, and it has they have used social media tools, because nowadays you can buy advertisement space. You can do this group advertisement. Which kind of people, where do you want to advertise your events and so on. And our fire brigades has done this kind of fire brigade weekends for people who are living near the fire station, and they are not excluding anyone. And for this fire brigade there were 20 firefighters, volunteer firefighters, and they did this weekend and they got 6 more after this weekend. And it was just basics on what is volunteer fire brigade about. It was just for the weekend, and when they left there they had tips how to do the training, and of course they were welcomed to come back soon. They had the next, what are the next trainings and stuff like that, the schedule. And it was all about lowering the fence, how to become a member to a volunteer fire brigade. And you could see also from the picture that that was quite diverse way. So there were a lot of new members, and I will show you that this is something what they did. The advertisement that you get on Facebook, for example, for free, what they did, these participants, was something that you cannot put the value. They were so excited that they will have to have a new fire brigade weekend also soon, because there are other persons that are interested in this. So we have found that these fire brigade weekends are a good way to recruit. It isn't too long, but it's enough long that you become a member. So last I will do this presentation with a summary also. We have this Federation for Contract Fire Departments, and we have done a project. It's Dragokraft på svenska, and I have all the leaflets also in Swedish over there if you are interested in. It is how we attract and how we keep the persons that we have in our fire brigades. So the ways to attract is, well, youth fire brigade, but also personal recruitment. We go in the towns one by one and recruit personnel that way. We have also collaboration between different volunteer fire brigades. If person moves who's in his or her town in a fire brigade, they contact the person, that town's volunteer fire brigade, and let know that one maybe active and trained person is moving, and maybe you could welcome him or her to your fire department. So they do collaboration between fire brigades also. Social media is a tool nowadays what we use a lot. We also make our work visible to all what we do in this society. So we do visits at daycare, schools, and so on. With our volunteer fire brigades do that also. And like I told you, we do events. But the important stuff is also to think how we keep the ones in the fire brigade that we already have had as members. Induction to a volunteer fire brigade is also a mandatory stuff that you need to do. You need to immediately take the person in and give all the basic information for him or her. Open and active communication is another way too. And I cannot underestimate the power of occupational safety also. If the person whose hobby it is, and if him or her doesn't feel safe enough to do that hobby, he or she will go away. So occupational safety is also something that you should look. And harassment stuff, we have also methods to do to prevent harassment. And the tools are, we have in those leaflets much more things that we will tell about, but we do this questionnaire defining me as a firefighter. Then we go in the volunteer fire brigade, we go and we think with each other how we are as a fire brigade. What are our strengths, weaknesses, possibilities, threats? And also we have provided tools how to share ideas between volunteer fire brigade. And even though we are adults, or we think, we also need to have guidance how to be respectful for one another. So we have also in that project this guidance for that too. So in summary, be open and active. That is one key point. Be there where the public goes. So open your doors from your fire station and let the people feel welcome. Think that when you invest to youth fire brigade for example, you invest to your future. And that investment grows back and comes back to you. But the fire brigades cannot be left without support. They need support system from the government or regional fire department, what is in your country, because it's something in what they do in their free time. And nowadays the attitude is that if something is not fun, I will go and leave it. So they need support system also. So I guess that's all. Thank you for your time.